Welcome. Let's Make a Profit podcast. This podcast is designed to be informational on the highs and lows of being a business owner, really owning your financials and learning how to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. Did you know that 83% of all small businesses run check to check? If you're tired of not paying yourself your value, losing your why in the process, and working in your business rather than on your business, you have found your people. I'm here to help you not be part of that 83% group. My name is Rebecca Howell, and I'm the owner and operator of Custom Bookkeeping and Accounting Solutions. I'm an enrolled agent with the IRS and also a certified Profit First professional. I'm going to take a second just to thank my sponsors for a few minutes. Dr. Bo and Jamie Mullen at Harbor Life and their staff at Harbor Life Chiropractic. They want to help you in unleashing your health potential. Tim and Sadie Marlowe at BD Local Podcast Studio. Thank you for all your hard work with helping us make our podcast great. Roger Sargent with Affluence Business Solutions, helping the small business owner and their teams with their business development and leadership skills. Okay, so let's get started today. This is kind of the final wrap up on the 3 steps that I have talked about on Profit First. This is probably the most important step of all of them because it's going to be your long-term your long-term method. And I call this the third phase of this, the rhythm and repeat phase of Profit First. So what I mean by that is that you find your rhythm, your allocation rhythm, and then you just continue to repeat. So like I said, that this is really the most important phase of Profit First, and making sure that you stick to your allocations, set your goals, have those conversations, those quarterly conversations about how you did, what is your plan for your next 3 months, and really having deep conversations about what do you want to see in your business. So successful entrepreneurship is not easy, but it can be a whole lot simpler. And I'm going to take just a few minutes to kind of recap the first and second phase that I have covered over the last 2 previous podcasts. So the first phase, I personally look at it being the simplest, but some small business owners find it really to be the most probably uncomfortable because it's asking them to do something. And what I'm asking is that you get your butt to the bank. And that's sometimes it's a very simple, funny statement, but sometimes business owners go, oh God, I have to do one more thing. Really, do I have to go to the bank? I have so many other things to do. And really the simplest thing on this is that if you have that great connection with your small local bank, you can just email your banker and say, hey, I need you to open up 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever accounts you need. And they can get most of the groundwork done and processed and prepared. And then all you have to do is just go in and sign and then make your deposits that you need to open those accounts. So you can actually make this very simple, but, and not make excuses that, hey, I'm really asking you to do something that you don't want to do. So again, after you get those bank accounts opened, my first request was to go ahead and just transfer 1% of your total income. And you can do that once a week. You can do that every 2 weeks. You can do it once a month, whatever you want to do. But 1% of your total income that you have received for that time period is going to go into a profit account. And it's going to sit there and you're going to do nothing with it right now. So then the second phase that I went into a lot more detail on the past podcast that I had was really implementing Profit First and understanding how you get started. So after the bank accounts get opened, you kind of, go through that second phase, which I call was the execute phase. And this is where we take your financials and understand where your business currently is and where you want to see your business go. And they call those caps and taps. So current allocation percentages and target allocation percentages. And the second phase is really where you get to dive in and understand your numbers. You understand how your business is fulfilling what we call the small plates or the buckets, and understanding where you currently are And some of my clients that I do this for, they're actually quite pleased because they knew that their business was okay. They knew that they were making some profit, but they didn't quite understand where all the rest of the money was going. Where were they paying themselves? And I just recently had a client that was paying themselves draws, but because we've implemented Profit First, they have decided that it would be best to turn those draws into some salary. So we started paying and creating those, being able to understand that they were able to do that, and that we could start paying for taxes, and that they had the profit on their balance, on their profit and loss statement, that they could use the wages for deductions and actually help them tax-wise a little bit better. So we were able to kind of go through that process, and we decided, that they were making a decent profit. And instead of, just letting it all sit in the profit account, we decided that we were going to open up an equipment account. She has a unique situation where she has, different needs for equipment, some being tangible assets and then some being, vehicles and things that she needed. So we kind of decided that instead of allocating our total profit percentage that we were going to do, we were going to start allocating that over to this equipment asset account, so that the money was sitting there when she needed to either replace the vehicles, when she needs to replace just the things that she uses in her business. So we kind of had that conversation. We decided that we were going to revamp what I call the assessment rollout plan. But that's really kind of like some of those things that I talked about in the second phase. In the second phase of it is really connecting with somebody that is Profit First certified, somebody that understands how Profit First is supposed to work. The book is very I can't call it one-sided. It's not necessarily that, but you can read into it and say, okay, well, I'm going to try to implement this, but that particular plan may not work in your business. And you really need to have somebody that can understand your business and help really say, hey, this profit percentage that is coming out, or wages. And I'm going to go back to this particular person that I just recently did. We were at 28% owner's compensation. Well, the Profit First assessment that I kicked out was 35. They wanted to increase her to 35%. Well, she wasn't comfortable with that. And that's what I'm saying is that sometimes a modified plan on the cookie cutter Profit First allocations is going to better benefit your business. So I'm not saying you can't do this on your own. You absolutely can. And I advise every business to do some sort of Profit First allocations in your business, whatever that may be. Having a separate tax account, having a separate, maybe a separate payroll account from your operating expenses, looking at what is your needs in your business and breaking your money up to purpose it is what it's called. So that's something that any business should obviously start doing. But if you really want the goals and you want to reach make this process as simple as possible, but having somebody that you can hold accountable, and somebody that can help you have those conversations, help you with those goals. How do you get there? Because a lot of people have goals, but then they go, well, I don't know how to get there. So if we can help you break out your money a little bit differently to better fit your business and better suit your needs, then that's why you want to work with someone that can, really help you understand Profit First and really help that business get everything that you're looking to get out of it. So, you might be here because you're a fan of Profit First. Maybe you've read some of the book. Maybe you've read all the book, but you don't know where to start. Maybe you've opened the bank accounts, and then again, some of you haven't even heard of Profit First. I ask a lot of clients and they say, no, I've never heard of that. And I highly recommend everybody to go get the book and at least read the book. It helps you understand better what the system is, helps you understand that there are solutions to your money, and then connecting with someone like myself or a certified Profit First professional in your area that can help, again, just like I said, hold you accountable and help you work through those goals. So you might have some debt, and Profit First can help pay down that debt. Maybe you're paying yourself, or maybe it's not even a reasonable salary. So we can have the conversations on how do we better serve you as the business owner and paying you your value. Some people they have profits, but then they don't have cash in the bank, and understanding where that money goes. Understanding that if you have debt, then obviously the profit on your P&L, your net income, does not match the money that you have sitting in your bank account because you've got liabilities that you have to pay. So helping people to understand that, and then really helping to release you from that debt and understand that you don't have to be a prisoner to your debt in your business. So what does doing Profit First right, what does that actually mean? Doing Profit First is remarkably easy. I mean, it's what we call bank balance accounting. All of us as small business owners do it. We log into our bank, we look at how much money we have, and then we figure out from there whether we can spend or not spend. Profit First is not changing that habit. It's not changing what you're doing. It's just allocating your money to purpose it so you look at it differently. So this is really a behavioral cash management system. It's not an event. I mean, we are creating habits, we're creating systems, we're creating, again, like I said, in this podcast, it's a rhythm and repeat. So you are creating something that you're going to continue to do moving forward as long as you have your business. I mean, it's something that you just get used to, and it's not a hard process. I mean, when we look at this, what I mean by rhythms, the book states the 10th and the 25th. That might be suitable for some. And the reason those particular dates were picked was because that's kind of typical. Businesses pay their bills on the 15th and the end of the month. So the 10th took care of the 15th bills, the 25th took care of the end of the month bills. And those allocation dates may work really well with people. A lot of my clients that I'm working with prefer to do their allocations right before payroll, making sure that they have the money to pay the payroll that's getting ready to come out of the bank, moving money from owner's comp to accommodate for that payroll that's coming out, adjusting for your taxes, things like that. So we will sometimes do bi-weekly based on your payroll schedule. I personally am doing weekly allocations, just because it's easier for me to manage my money. And maybe at some point in time I might get to the 10th and the 25th. I don't know. I just like paying my bills weekly, so that's what I do. And so that's what I mean by the rhythm, is really figuring out what that rhythm looks like, and helping to understand what rhythm works for you, and then working, again, just doing a repeat. Whatever your rhythm allocation is, you continue to do it. I do have, some suggestions that I've come across where, like, business owners don't necessarily want to be bothered by the allocations, the actual process of the allocations. I have a couple clients that have hired us to just do the allocations for them. But one of the things that we want to really, I guess, bring the message home is that you still need to understand the allocations. You may not be doing them, but having somebody that will either give you the numbers, you work the Excel spreadsheet, or at least when that Excel spreadsheet is shared with you, that you understand the process and you understand the money. Again, again, working out the system that fits you and fits your business. Another Profit First podcast that I listened to recently, she has an accounting department, and she is the one that works out her allocations on paper. So the accounting department will tell her what her income is, and she sits down and figures out what the dollar amounts are going to be that are going to be allocated. And then she sends that email back to the accounting department. The accounting department takes care of processing, the transfers in the bank. So again, it's just that you still need to be aware of your money and where it's going, and understand the process, because then that's when you fully see the benefits and the rewards of understanding your money better, and then also where it's going to process for pay, what its purpose is. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that understanding your allocations and understanding your money, one of the benefits that has helped me is that I know each and every week how much money my business needs to bring in to pay for the bills. And then obviously the weeks that I have payroll, it's a little bit higher, but at least I understand what the bare minimum is. And when I do those allocations, when I sit down and actually say, okay, this is how much money's in my income account, I know if that number is correct or not. I know if it's a good enough number to fit. And one of the things that I really truly believe that Profit First has helped is when, I guess what I'm going to say is, when you borrow from Peter to pay Paul. A lot of us have heard this statement. And what that means is you've borrowed from your personal account to pay your business because you've shorted yourself on money, you've overspent, or you've done something, or you're borrowing from your profit account to pay your operating expenses. So Profit First has been really clear on when you have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul in a much faster manner, of understanding why you're doing that and how can we correct it so you don't continue to do that. Because the minute you continue to not understand your money or not understand why you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, you are losing sight of where your business is. You're overspending because you have now run out of money in the grand scheme of things. And that's when your business suffers. You suffer as a business owner because now you have to go, oh, I can't pay myself that salary this week because I need to pay payroll to my staff. So you have to look at really how to balance. And that's a lot of what Profit First has helped, is being aware of when you're borrowing from the other accounts and really understanding what is causing that situation. So, as I said, the money, what you need bare minimum. I mean, how much you need for the week. So let's say you have a project that comes in, or like right now, I'm in tax season. So this is like my Super Bowl. I get a lot more influx of money right now than I do the rest of the year. So as I'm using Profit First for what it's meant for, I don't change my allocations. So I may have more money, and that means I'm putting more money in my profit account, my tax account, my owner's comp, my operating expense. We're saving that for a rainy day. We don't want to change our allocations and not stay consistent with what our process is. Another method of Profit First is we don't want to spend everything we have in our operating account. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to just put enough in our operating account to afford our business, is really what it is. You put enough in your operating account to afford your business. If you have extra, you either leave it there, because let's say you have a slow week and rent's due. You have the money already there. You didn't go spend it, or you transfer it into one of your other accounts. Let's say you put it into a savings account, you put it into maybe your profit account, but I would almost say let's put it in a slush fund account or a vault account, whatever we want to call it. And it sits there for just in case. And that money can go wherever it needs to go for that week that maybe we're a little bit slow, or we find ourselves in a recession again and we haven't planned for this. But if you have those good weeks and those bad weeks, Profit First at least is helping you understand that if you stay consistent with your allocations, you can stay consistent with your spending. Another thing that I want to kind of address, and this is another reason to really have that accountability partner while you're going through this process, is that your allocations are set for 3 months. You don't change them. You don't adjust for them, because if you don't stay consistent, you find yourself in that reactive stage rather than being proactive on your business and your money. So once those allocations are set, you don't change. I can't say that you don't, but I really want to say, no, you don't. And having somebody that says, hey, nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to figure out what caused this, why we did this, how do we fix this, how do we stay on course? Because if you don't have somebody that's going to hold you accountable, you're either going to stop your allocations altogether because you don't want to mess with it, or again, you go back to that borrowing from Peter to pay Paul because you overspent. So I really want to say that, while we're in I understand small businesses are small businesses and we have to do whatever we have to do. I get that. And I sympathize and understand and know that sometimes things happen and we just have to plan for it. But again, if you get off course, how do we get back on course? So that's another reason to have somebody that can really help you. And then another thing is that when you are putting your money into your profit account and you haven't needed it, you get to celebrate each quarter. You have this money. You can do something with it. You can put it in the vault account. I know the book says let's not respend it back into our business, but we're small businesses. Sometimes we need equipment, or we've been waiting to buy some furniture or, some equipment that we need in our business. Sometimes that profit account might help. Or again, you could just take that money and say, I could go have a nice dinner. I could go have, maybe put it in your personal vacation fund, but you get to celebrate. And that's, every little win. Why wouldn't we want to win in our business? And the fact that you get to celebrate that, not only by yourself, but with your accountability coach. We get to say, hey, we're really proud of you. Go do what you want with that money. It's yours. It's yours to spend. So like I said, once you understand the process and once you figure out what your caps are, what your taps are, the program typically runs about 6 to 8 quarters. So 18 months to 2 years, kind of depends on how you do. And I'm not saying that, you do this and you're done. As your business changes, maybe you decide to shift a different product. Maybe you decide to do a completely different service. So this allocations, while they might not change very much, but maybe some drastic change. When I mentioned this before, when I first did mine, I was a solopreneur. I worked by myself. I didn't have any other expenses. I had whatever I needed to run my business, but that was it. And now I'm starting to add employees. I have to revamp my percentages because I didn't have as much operating expenses before as I do now. So I had to look at my business and know that my business changed. And while income was increasing, but those allocation percentages had to change. And if you're not in tune with that or not working with somebody that can help understand that, you may be allocating improper. You might be not allocating correctly because your operating expense doesn't fit your business anymore. So we have to look at, those are some things that long-term effects after you get through this that you have to look at. That yes, this is a rhythm and repeat, but sometimes that rhythm and repeat has to be put back on the rails. So we have to look at that. So I'm really just going to not spend too much more time on this, but I just wanted to say, open your bank accounts, start processing that 1%, transferring that 1% profit. If you do nothing other than that, at least you're saving some profit. I mean, I can't force you to do this. I can't ask you to do any more than you're not going to be willing to do. But at least if you do nothing more than just that 1% profit, you're doing better than you are today. And that's all I can ask. And if you want more out of your business and you want to understand your business, you want to understand your cash, you want to manage your cash, then look into Profit First and connect with a certified Profit First coach that can help you through this process. And I'm going to kind of repeat a few other things, but money and finances are 10% logic and 90% emotions. And when you are, of course, in your own business, you are very emotional about your money. It's yours. You worked hard. You've put in all this sweat and tears to get that money. And a lot of people go, well, that's my money. I don't want to spend it. I don't want the government to take it. There's different meanings to this. And really, again, having that coach, having that person that can hold you accountable kind of removes the side of emotions that you are currently experiencing it with your money. And you're going to have them. I'm not asking you to not have them. But it's just really having that person that can help remove the emotions, have those conversations that you may not want to hear. I mean, you may be taking too much out in distributions. You may be overspending. You may have to let go of one of your staff members if your business is not able to afford them. I mean, these are conversations that I know are uncomfortable, but if you truly want to get ahead of managing your cash, these are sometimes conversations that we have to have. And removing that emotion from your business is really key and important. Here's a statement actually from the book. It's on page 48, and it's a statement that Mike McCowett said. Trust the process. This works, but it's unfamiliar. So you will resist. Commit to it now. Relinquish your resistance and comfort in doing what you have done in the past. First, trust the process and then prove it to yourself. I think that's a great statement because we are afraid of change. We are afraid of reaching out to somebody and asking something that we don't know or that we don't understand. But as many of us have heard, we don't know what we don't know. And if somebody else has the information that can help you have this great business that you've always wanted, it's time to reach out and connect with these people and let them help you really get that business that you want. So as I said, open up those bank accounts, transfer your 1%, and then when you're ready to really dive into Profit First, reach out to me. All these podcasts are on letsmakeaprofitpodcast.com. You can reach me at 253-514-8564, or my email is rebecca@yourcustombookkeeper.com. My next podcast, I don't know exactly how many I'm going to do, but my next podcasts are going to be really diving into your financial statements, understanding what financial statements are, what they tell you, and why they're important in your business. And we're going to get into really just understanding what each financial statement is, and how to read them and how to understand them, and how understanding, this profit first process, and then understanding your financials, how that really, the power that it gives you in your business. So again, if you want to reach out, please do so. Again, let's make a profit podcast.com. Check out all the other podcasts, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.